sur la rose des enfants d'Israël. Je veux en effacer la trace des abreuves de fiel. Mon histoire, celui qui les guide.
I am especially delighted today to welcome to the San Diego Opera podcast Anooshah Golesorkhi. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, you did. Absolutely.
Who is our High Priest, the High Priest of Dagon in Samson and Delilah. Anooshah, welcome.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
good
you very
to have
much.
you here.
It's good to be here.
Now, I want to tell the audience, this is Old Home Week.
It is.
Because I taught at the University of San Diego from 1977 to 1990. And my office, the office I had that entire time, all those 13 years, was right next door to the voice teacher, the baritone Bob Austin, which some of you who are watching may remember Bob, or may have been a student of his at one time or another.
God rest his soul.
Yeah, and his office adjoined mine, and I used to listen to your voice lessons.
I'd like to personally apologize for any pain I may have caused you in those years.
But then, you know, and I remember the name. I remembered the name, Anooshah. And my piano teacher, Ilana Maisior, accompanied you
Was
many
also
times.
my actually I started piano lessons with Ilana.
Oh, really?
I did. I had 2 or 3 piano lessons. And
So you must have been in the opera workshop program.
I
as
was in the
well.
opera workshop. I wasn't. That's how I started, in fact, and how I met Bob Austin. Actually, I remember very well. A good friend of mine was a fantastic voice she had, Pamela Methvin. And Pamela was a student there, and she was a wonderful soprano. And she sort of convinced me to go and sing for Bob and join the opera workshop program. And in those days, if you were walking, breathing, and somewhat warm male person, they took you for the shows, you know.
Absolutely.
They did. Actually, I managed the theater, the old theater there for a couple of years. I did, you know.
Camino Theater, yeah.
Camino Theater. I used to do the lights and everything else when we had events. There was an old dimmer board.
Yes,
You
I
have to
remember
wrestle
that.
with the thing.
And the old Knabe Grand. Do you remember the Knabe Grand?
Of course,
I
absolutely.
gave my junior and senior recitals on that old Knabe Grand. It still exists.
No.
It does. It's now sitting in the lobby of the Student Union.
This piano actually was never used. It was an old broken down piano, totally out of tune. And it was in the, I don't remember the names now, of the 2 women's dormitories, which I never visited.
No.
The 2 women's dormitories. The second one, that was in the same courtyard as the cafeteria was.
Yeah, it
There
was
was
Camino and
I think there was
Founders.
the Blüthner or something, an old, really beautifully carved piano there that sounded terrible, but it was beautiful. Anyway, so Ilana told me after 3 piano lessons that I should concentrate on singing.
And you did. And look what
And here
happened.
it is. She gave me the good.
Well, this is the thing. I was so delighted. I heard the name that you were going to be here as the High Priest. You know, we get very busy during the season. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I'm thinking, Anooshah. I know I've heard that name before. And someone on staff said, "Did you know that the baritone who's coming to sing the High Priest went to USD?" And it dawned on me. I thought, "Oh my God, Anooshah!" Then I saw you in the office.
I know, and it was like,
immediate.
it was like, wait a minute, I know this man. No, Father Nick, because you were a very popular person.
Yeah, I guess.
You were a very popular person.
But tell me, what happened? You've got to catch me up because we really haven't spoken much about it.
No.
So you were firmly in San Diego. You got your undergrad at USD,
I did.
a major in chemistry. is
Major
that
in
right?
chemistry, minor in philosophy and music.
And then you went to SDSU.
I went to SDSU, got my master's in chemistry at SDSU, in synthetic organic chemistry. So every opera singer needs to know. And then, actually, we were going to start, back then there was a program, sort of a joint program between UCSD and UCSD and San Diego State for PhD. Because we didn't offer PhDs at SDSU in those days. I don't know if they do or they don't anymore.
I think they do now.
But anyway, that was a joint program. So I actually was going to do that. I was actually going to, when I got my master's in '83, and I was going to actually do that. And then I got a job offer in Los Angeles. It was a very good job offer in business. Doing, well, it originally started with consulting on venture capital matters having to do with chemical industry. And then it sort of took its own avenue, and I ended up working about 12 years for a Swiss company, for a Swiss gentleman actually, who had interest in oil, film. He just had a lot of money, basically. And
you got to play with it.
And I got to lose it for him. Yes, I did. And the first job I ever had to do was convince the LA City board of directors to let us do their parking services. You know, automated parking.
Mm-hmm.
Strange things. But he didn't care where I was.
Oh.
So long as the work got done.
Yeah.
He lived in Switzerland. He lived in Geneva. And he would call me at all hours of the morning from me because it was just his afternoon. He wanted to know how things were. So long as everything worked, which was a lot of telephone, which was in those days fax machines that, you know, weighed more than
but you could
Volkswagen.
do it. You could do it from anywhere as long as you had access to a phone.
That's the point. So in fact, again by accident, as I see it, I'm sorry, the wonderful opera singer Carol Neblett, who used to actually live here in Coronado.
Right.
Carol,
dear friend.
I sang for Carol, and she liked me. She said it's a wonderful voice, and so on and so forth. And then she was doing at Opera Pacific, which in those days existed.
Right.
Aida. She was making her debut in Aida.
Oh yes.
In
and
88.
she got the review from Martin Bernheimer of Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow.
I mean, she was
wonderful.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
So she talked Dr. DiChiara into letting me understudy Amonastro.
Ah.
First thing I ever did. No, that's not true. I sang Falstaff at SDSU. That was the only other opera, okay?
Another league.
So I understudied this, fully well knowing I'd never sing this thing. I got big bucks, $3.25 a week. and I worked. So I worked in LA. I drove down Orange County for the days that I need to be there. Very minimal. Dr. DiChiara was very, very understanding to know that I'm working. I can't do all the things that the young artists were doing.
Right.
But I got there. Lo and behold, I had to jump into a performance.
Did you?
Yeah, with Carol.
Oh my gosh.
Now, the performance was with Carol, Dolores Zajic.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
As the Amneris.
As the Amneris.
Who was the tenor? Do you remember?
I don't remember the name, but he was fantastic. It was a Chilean tenor, about, God knows, 2 meters tall and 5 meters voice. I mean, the voice was incredible. And Eric Halverson was the bass. And it didn't dawn on me that I didn't belong there.
That was real opera. You were singing with stars.
I got called, and I went there, and they sort of asked me, are you okay? John Mauceri conducted. And John said, don't worry about anything. I give you everything. Just look at my left hand. I will give you everything. And stupider than doorknob that I was, I said, don't worry about this. I know this role. I can sing this backwards, you know. Took me many years to really figure out, A, that it would take me 15 years to sing with a cast like that again.
Mm-hmm.
And that one should really be maybe nervous.
A little?
A little? Never dawned on me.
Wow.
In 1993, it got so busy, thank God, that I had to go to this gentleman, really, who was like a second father to me, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
You know, I was in the board of directors of all the companies by now. I knew everything that was going on. And I went to him in Geneva, and I said, look, I really don't know how to tell you this, but you know I've been singing. He said, yes, and he liked my singing. And now, in the meantime, in all those years, I'd sung in Australia, I'd sung in New Zealand, I mean, far off places. Sorry. And he said, I said to him, look, this is a disease. And I don't know how it's going to go, but at the moment it's so busy that I really can't do justice to both. And against all intelligent choices that one might make, I want to go sing. And I thought he was going to blow up. Because for him also was an investment in me.
Of course, yeah.
And strangely enough, he said to me, he smiled and he said, you know, when I was a young man, I wanted to be an actor. I went to the London School of Economics and I studied acting. And I made a lot of money. So I never went into acting, but I always wonder what would have happened. And I don't ever want you to do that. Go do your thing. If it doesn't work, come back.
How great.
Which was very sweet of you.
Yeah.
So I basically sat on the board for the next 5-6 years. I was there like 3 times a year for things. And since 93, thank God, the longest space I haven't worked, I think, has been 5 weeks or something like that.
Wow. Now, and I understand you've sung the role of the High Priest 100 times.
Many times. It's true.
Like
lots of performance, lots of productions. Yes.
This is so exciting.
Anyway, that's how it all happened.
I love that because, you know.
Sorry, it's a long story.
It's all right, but USD is this what it was certainly then a small school, very small music department.
Yes, I think we had
5 faculty members, or 3 faculty
3
members, or something.
There
like
was
that.
Henry Kolar,
Henry and Marge Hart,
who
I'm going to make sure sees this.
it would be lovely to see
Ilana,
her.
and I'm trying to get her to come to the performance.
And Ilana.
And those were the full time, and then Bob was part time.
Right, Bob was part time. He did the opera workshop and he taught.
But it's just, first of all, it takes me back, and that's exciting. But what is also exciting is when we who are from San Diego and see people go into music as a profession and make it their living and make it their calling and have some success is just. For me, it is a great.
It's wonderful. It's really. I've only been here now a day, but there are so many different emotions that I can't even sort them out yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic. But of course, you know, in a way, it's a dream come true because I started here and we looked to the opera. You know, I used to come here and when we could afford it. Mr. Capabianco was the director before Mr. Campbell came, and you know. I sort of sit there and dream, oh, this would be a nice stage to sing on. It would be great to be here.
Yeah.
And when it comes through,
Here you are.
This is really fantastic.
Well, thank you for being here. We send our best to Thomas Thomasson.
Yes, of course.
Who was supposed to do the High Priest of Dagon and had
He's a wonderful
surgery
artist.
and just wasn't able to be here. I mean, he's definitely out of trouble. You know, it's not a problem.
Good.
But simply could not make the commitment. And for you to step in helps us an awful lot.
I mean, it's always a bittersweet sort of a thing because it's a very small family.
Exactly.
We all know each other. We all know each other. We've all run into each other, if not over, from here and there. But when you hear, of course, it's nice to be here and to work and to do this production, especially for me in San Diego. But it's also the other side of it is the bitter side that another colleague had to not be able to.
Exactly. But we are delighted to have you, and I'm so glad to renew my friendship with you, my acquaintance with you, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Toi, toi, toi.
What's on Schiefgehen, as we say.
Il faut que va l'amour